horror show going on in
Yeah, I
Maui.
was trying to like catch up on it a little bit before getting on here, and I don't. There's like so much information that it's just like I'm not sure what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I'm um I'm not fully caught up on what's going on, obviously, other than the fire came through. It was fueled by those winds, from the hurricane. It destroyed, like, I think I saw 22,000 buildings.
I
Um,
heard
or
2200. Was it
or
22,000?
2,200. Yeah,
Okay.
no, I misspoke. I misspoke. It was 2,200. Um, and like I think the death toll right now is up to 106, probably more since I've seen that, because that was yesterday that I saw that, and they've only been able to identify 5 of them, which
Wow.
makes sense. It's going to require a lot more work to, you
Yeah,
know,
I suppose. Dental
because
records and whatnot.
I mean, essentially from video I saw, it looked like I mean, it was like a firestorm. Like it just swept through, and it went so quick. Like the video that I saw of them jumping into that the ocean, and the wind is just howling and pushing. Like, I mean the fire's sucking in oxygen, plus the wind itself is going. And I haven't seen much like footage of it. I don't know if there is any of it, like on a large scale of, like, you know what I mean? Like, up in the air from a distance or anything, like.
Oh, well, I'd say you'd think there would be, but if there was a hurricane going on, maybe like
True.
a helicopter couldn't get up to monitor or whatever, or
Yeah,
even a
yeah,
drone or something,
yeah, or like maybe like a camera from a higher elevation or something, but I guess I don't know the landscape that well enough to know,
or
or
even like satellite images or something.
I'm sure there'll be more come out, but um
Yeah,
a
from what
lot
I
of.
heard, there was like 100 people dead and 100 people still missing, and they'd only done like 3% of the total like search area or something at the time of
Mhm.
the video that I watched.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Um, I mean, I lost my home to a fire when I was in 8th grade,
Oh,
right?
that's right. Yeah.
And all I can say is I mean, it's horrible, obviously. Luckily, no one was hurt. Even the pets made it out unscathed, which was kind of a miracle. But it was a total loss. And one thing that I remember is like the smell of just everything and the aftermath of it. And I
Mm.
can't even imagine what that has to smell like in a situation like that, where it's an entire city or village, or you know however they want however they
So your
call it.
nose probably just gets plugged full of ash.
Yeah, you'd have to wear protection, I would think, going through
Yeah.
that. Like, I mean, there's going to be particles, not only still in the air, there's probably stuff smoldering, the ash,
I was
the
gonna say, is it still burning? I guess I don't even know if like it's knocked down all the way.
I would bet that there's probably still hot spots here and there. I mean, it
Yeah.
was so massive, right? um like maybe if you dig down in some of the debris, there's probably still spots that's like, oh, there's got maybe a little bit of something going. But
Yeah, I know that that was one thing up in Minnesota, which actually uh the one video I watched said it's the most deadliest fire since 1918 in the
which,
fires of Cloquet,
yep.
Minnesota, which is right,
Hmm.
down the street from my parents' house. So,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
sometimes the marshes would catch on fire, like the peat bog, and they said that'll just burn forever, like underneath not under the ground, but like it'll just smolder and burn for a long, long time. So yeah, I'm sure there is still hot spots.
What, like, do you think there's a market for burning peat bog scent? Like a candle?
A candle or like cologne.
So like ocean breeze, it's like a burnt peat bog, smoldering peat bog.
Dried out buffalo chips.
Oh, geez. But yeah, there's a lot of I don't want to call them conspiracy theories, because I think that
Speculations.
yeah, yeah, because I think that the conspiracy theory term um has been used kind of negatively, especially as of late, because a conspiracy theorist. Like, conspiracies are awesome, first of all. Like, they're interesting to look into, they're interesting to read about and consider. But I don't want people to think that when I say conspiracy theory, that I'm meaning it negatively, like, oh, that conspiracy theorist, or oh, it's just a conspiracy theory.
Well,
So
the definition of conspiracy is what, like, the, when more than two people come together to plan something.
mhm.
I mean, it's a really basic definition. So, like, yeah, like you said, the word conspiracy has a negative connotation to it, but it it's a totally valid thing.
Yeah, and I don't think that having, like, if you have questions about something, or you're wondering like, oh, why is this video showing this, or why is this book that all of a sudden appears on Amazon, that about the Maui fire, as it was pretty much happening, like, why is this out here? Those are valid questions to wonder about,
Absolutely.
and
And
and if you look into it, maybe you can find the answers. So
yeah, and the book I heard was written by AI. Is
I've
that
heard
true, do you
that.
think?
I think it is probably true. Because from what I can understand about that name, uh, whoever it was assigned to, or like as far as the author or whatever, that name is tied to like 40 something titles that have come out in the last month, and I guarantee it's just somebody that's like putting something into AI and then cranking out books
Yeah.
and trying to profit off of the bullshit that's in the world today.
Well, if it works, I guess gotta make money somehow.
Yeah, because like if you click on that guy's bio, he said, like, it says I'd rather not say. It's all it says on the Amazon page. So
That's funny.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, you were talking about the winds were really high.
Hmm.
Another thing I heard was, like, you know how when you build a fire for survival, you can like build a wall to like reflect the heat back towards you.
Hmm.
Like, they were saying the mountain acted as like a reflection where it basically doubled the heat or something like that, where there was no escape for the, I don't know, thermal energy to go, and it just
Hmm.
reflected it back into the fire, which made it that much hotter.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I really want to read more about it. It's so much has been coming out. I've seen so many different videos and pictures and articles and um things like that, and I really just know the basics of it. So I'm curious to how they think it started. I haven't really heard much on that, and I know it takes a time for people to figure that stuff out, but
Well, I've
sometimes.
heard lightning strikes. Um, have you heard of the directed energy beam?
Yeah, I've heard.
The laser from like a Chinese satellite.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I haven't looked into much about it. I've seen there was like a picture that showed up that showed some like green lasers over
Mm-hmm.
in Hawaii, but I've also heard that explained away as like it's like some kind of research that had been going on. They've known about it for like a time or whatever,
Right,
but
and it was a Chinese satellite that wasn't even like a spy satellite. It was something that, I don't know, everybody knows about. So,
yeah, yeah, but it gets crazy. I still don't want people to feel that they shouldn't look in or question these types of things when they see them, um because I mean that's how you get to the bottom of it, and how you, I guess, you get some kind of knowledge for yourself too. Like, look into it, like, don't be afraid to look into that, or but yeah, just like I was saying, like, it disgusts me that there's people out there that try to discourage people from having an open mind and looking at all avenues. So
well, especially in the last few years, like, I don't believe anything the government or the media tells me anymore. Like, I just
Yeah.
dismiss it as probably not being true, whatever it is they're
Hmm.
telling me. And it's just funny how some people like me are very, you know, speculative of anything, but then other people just swallow everything. Just they just buy into whatever they hear. Like, oh yeah, okay, it was just a runaway campfire and it was really windy. Okay, like or whatever.
Yeah, like the idea that like what you hear from the government, what you hear from Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, all of them, like they're the ones that are going to give us the best information possible when we absolutely know that they have purposely like misled the public many a times.
Yep.
Like it's not even a question, like Iraq
It's part of
war.
their business model.
Yeah, yep. The Iraq war stuff with the WMDs, Vietnam, even with Gulf of Tonkin, the Ukraine war. A lot of times, people like to uh think, or they don't really go into the history of the region and why the region is so unstable, and the US involvement that we've had in that since to like probably for the whole start of the century, probably even going a little bit back. But yeah, our involvement with overthrowing the government back then in 2013, and the instability that caused, um they like to pretend a lot of that didn't happen, and it's just not being honest. They might, as I think Michael Malice says, has a thing that sometimes what they say that may be factual, however they're not being truthful. Or I might have maybe he it might be the other way around that he says it, but um you know what I mean, where they leave out some of the story. What they're saying might have some truth to it, but it's
It's like a half truth,
yeah, yeah. So
or if they get called on it, if you point out that they're lying, they're just like, yeah, well, but no, but
yep.
yeah, but not really, but yeah, you're right. They
Hmm.
they might acknowledge that they were lying, but like, there's no repercussions. They just move right past it.
Yeah, so look into that stuff for yourself. Like, go out for sure, consider where the source is coming from, obviously, and look into that. But it makes me really pissed off that, yeah, the government, like mainstream news, like they portray themselves as the most reliable sources, and it's simply not true.
Well, and it's kind of neat with cell phones and whatnot. We have a lot of primary sources, you know,
Hmm.
um, whether or not they're true and factual, but we have a lot of with even the Ukraine war too. But with Hawaii, there's a lot of footage of people that are there, trying to escape or whatever.
Did you see the video? Like I'd sent, I don't have it ready to be queued up, but where there was a local at the Hawaii deal that was saying that there was a um, police that were holding back a line of cars that should have probably been let go to escape
Yeah.
the fire. Um, and again, like that guy seemed pretty credible. It seemed like he's a well-known local in the area. But this is, the police officer, he said, was just following orders when he was holding up this line of cars.
So I went around back to Front Street, and there was all the cars were lined up, but none of them were moving. And I walked all the way from Safeway to the Chart House. Not one car had moved. And I was wondering what was stopping the traffic. Well, it was a policeman. And I got to the end, and I looked up north. There were no obstructions. There was no reason to keep those cars.
Um, that doesn't mean that the police officer was purposely holding the people there to die. It doesn't mean that the government, or whoever, the local government, the police department, was incompetent in getting them out. Um, it could mean that it's a chaotic event and no one knew what was going on because it happened really fast.
I'm serious as a heart attack. And I said, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm under orders to keep them here. And I said, the fire is right around Safeway. It's going to hit Front Street. You know, these people got to get out of here.
What I think it is like it's probably maybe a mixture of everything, you know, like
Yeah.
until I can figure out for myself if I want to look into what exactly he's talking about there, like who gave the orders, you know, was there a misheard order possibly?
And he said, I'm following orders.
No way.
And I keep walking down the highway, and I look behind, no cars are coming out. I walked all the way to Waikuli Beach, still no cars coming out. And I started hearing boom, boom, boom. And then I heard people screaming and stuff.
You're saying they were blockaded in by the police at the end of Front Street?
Yeah.
Was it just no one knew what the fuck was going on? Like,
Or like, did he say, you know, hold the cars there, and then communications went down, so he shouldn't be like, okay, let them through now, or something like that. So
yep,
I think cell phones were down,
mm-hmm.
or cell service or whatever. Also, I heard, did you hear about the guinea grass?
Yeah, how it's a
So,
very
yeah,
like
it's
I
like
just
an invasive species of plant life that they brought over to feed the cattle or whatever, and it grows like crazy. And then once there's like a drought, I guess Hawaii's had a pretty bad drought for the last, I don't know, couple months or whatever. So that, I guess, really took off too. So I think, yeah, like you said, it's a mixture of a lot of things. There's probably some fuckery going on, whether it's the, you know, cause of the fire or what, or I mean, I've heard it's a land grab too. Have you heard that one?
Yep, how Maui but there's like some initiatives going on to make it I don't know, like an AI.
Yeah, the 15-minute city. It's like only powered by electricity or something like that.
Yep. And how, you know, and I don't know much about that a ton either, from just, you know, some video snippets and some write-ups on it, you know, that I've seen. But whenever there's a disaster, the government sure as hell makes sure to take advantage of it a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
Politicians, you know, people with agendas, they always try to make it, when a terrible thing happens, they always trying to find an angle that can really help their agenda.
True. Never let it go to waste.
Uh-huh.
I did hear that Joe Biden was sending them some money though. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, how I heard it was, last I heard, what was it, 12 billion-ish?
Oh, okay, maybe that's different. What I had initially heard was the residents there was like they were getting checks for like $700.
Oh, yeah, I did hear that too.
Like $700, like that would just make me like angry.
Yeah, maybe it was that I heard it was like a full, like he okayed an aid package that was several billion. I can't remember, like for some reason when I said 12 billion I was like, or was it 7? Don't come to listen to us for exact exact facts.
We just
like
ask questions that cause more questions.
Yeah, look it up for yourself. But yeah, I did see that the $700 thing is pretty laughable.
Well, and
you know,
isn't isn't Hawaii super expensive anyway? So it's like,
yeah, it's an island. It costs
so it's like getting $200 if you live in Iowa.
Yeah, just
your
think
home's
about,
gone. You know, you had people that died in your family, but here's a couple $100.
Dude, yeah. Think about how much it costs to get things there. And like think of, you know, even when you travel in the Midwest, if you're in the middle of nowhere, whether it's like Minnesota, Wisconsin, like Iowa, like when you get up to some of those places where you're not really that close to a big city, the highways, it's like it takes like an hour to go 20 miles because you're winding around the landscape. You know, the stuff just costs more. So I don't think $700 would go a long way for a lot of people there, especially in the condition that their lives are in right now.
Definitely wouldn't get them a plane ticket.
Yeah, no, no, it probably wouldn't even buy a month's worth of groceries for a lot of families,
Yeah, that's true.
you know. But hey, FEMA will be there, and they're oh wait, I've
I've
heard
heard
FEMA is
I've heard they
really,
are there. Yeah, I've heard
yeah.
I've
Oh,
heard they're
you've heard
doing a
they are?
yeah, I've heard they're doing a bang up job.
Oh, don't lie to me.
No, like there was some woman that I saw was talking about it, and I think she was like trying to help and like volunteer, and a bunch of people in the neighborhood had made like food to like bring in to like feed people, and FEMA just told them to get lost because it wasn't made in a commercial kitchen or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, she was like bawling in this video. There's like so much shit that she was talking about. So whether she was an actor or not, or I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, who knows? I should dig
Yep.
that up and I'll send that to you too. I heard the alarm
Oh,
system wasn't like activated during the fires either, and they've got like one of the biggest outdoor alarm systems for like uh I don't know, tsunamis or whatever, or
Japanese
hurricanes
air raids.
yeah. Yep, but I heard that wasn't activated, and I heard that with the power outages that may or may not have had a cause of the water pressure. There was no water pressure to put out the fires either. It was just a shitstorm of a bunch of things like going wrong, whether by design or not, I guess.
Hold on, I'm gonna have a drink here quick, so don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. But oh, so good.
Is it?
Maybe we should fill people in on how you are not a fan of Spotted Cow, and I
I'm
always
not. Yeah, you're
I,
always like super impressed with yourself when you get it. And I'm always like, oh.
and I send it to you. I'd send it to you purposefully. Like I'm like, oh, better send Bjorn the Spotted Cow because I know how much he loves it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, people seem to love it, and I'm glad that you like it. But I don't like it. I would drink Busch Light with Dane before I drank Spotted Cow with you.
I like Busch Light too.
You would.
Oh my God. It's like Lahaina is on fire. Oh my God. Terrifying. Oh my God, I hope there's no animals.
I hope there's no animals in there.
Isn't that interesting that sometimes it seems like certain people like they care more about the animals than the humans.
Yeah. Yep.
No, there's probably a shitload of animals in there and a shitload of people too.
Yeah, and like in the next frame, there's somebody walking down the middle of the street, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, there's someone walking on the street," and she's like, "Fucking," goes right. Which I don't know. I guess I probably wouldn't stop in a situation necessarily, because who knows who
Yeah.
you're gonna pick up that's gonna try to steal your car to get away or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
It gets pretty nuts when people get desperate.
I think they've said it takes like what just a couple days without electricity in some cases, like especially in bigger cities where
Oh yeah.
it's their life is quite a bit different in the concrete jungle than it is out in the Midwest, where I can have a generator, like everyone has like a generator or access to one, hopefully, or just a little more helpful to their neighbors. Because I think what was it, New York City a few years ago, it might have been the 2010 sometime, where they had like a big blackout, and like a few days, the first couple days, everyone's, and then all of a sudden it kind of started to get a little shady.
Yeah, just descended into chaos.
So
Yeah.
I don't think it'd take that long if all of a sudden people were not or without power and groceries and things like that.
Cell phones were down in Osage for a day. And
Oh,
I'm not
really?
sure how much of North Iowa was without cell phone service, but even that was like kind of crazy, where people were just getting irritable about it, which whatever, but it wasn't life threatening or anything. It was just annoying.
Yeah, I think we were out of power during that big Dureco or derecho, whatever the hell. And we were without power for like 4 days. And I had a generator that I just had powering my fridge and my deep freeze in the basement. And I just kind of chilled around my house all day, refilled the generator when it was getting low on gas. I would sleep in like during the night. I would set my alarm to like wake up like every 2.5 hours or so just to check to see how the generator is going, because I had to run cords in through my door, so I couldn't fully secure my house. So I'm just like sleeping, with the door open and stuff. And I think Megan and the girls were in town with somebody that had power, but I was like holding down the fort there.
Well, who's to say somebody's not going to come by and try to rip off your generator too,
Oh yeah, couldn't really see it, but yeah, I was kind of hanging around just making sure everything was going good, and that started getting kind of weird after maybe like day 3 and 4, where it's like, it's just a more primitive way to live. Even though I still have my house and everything, it's not as comfortable as we were
right
used to with the AC and the being able to lock it.
Yeah. I think about 15 years ago, there was an ice storm that knocked down power lines and snapped a bunch of power lines. And I think my parents were out of power for like 8 days or something like that. And I was in the dead of winter, so even shittier.
Where was that?
That was in Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was in college. Well, we were both in college, but yeah, I remember power being out in Forest City. So
yeah, I kind of remember a couple pretty big storms that came through during that time. So yeah, it's not fun.
Gotta be prepared though.
That's what I was gonna say. Yep. Have your plans, in action, or ready to go into action when something hits the fan. So I don't know. I hope that there was some people in Maui that could have looked, they looked back and they were like, man, I made the right preparations and made the right decisions there. Because I mean, you can't tell me something that happens like that bad, that fast, that quick. You can't tell me that it didn't cross somebody's mind who lived in that area that, hey, this could be a possibility if all the conditions come together that we have a disaster this bad.
And if nothing else, they'll be thinking about that going forward.
So
all right, well, we better wrap it up.
Yep.
Zoom is telling me we're running out of time, so I gotta go find my baby.
Okay. Sounds good.
I can hear her singing upstairs. So
well, at least it's it's happy noises you're hearing, so
that's true. Yeah, she's not singing like the German national anthem or anything like that. All right, dude. Yeah, we'll report more on Hawaii as we find out, I guess, but it'll remain a bit of a mystery for a little bit.
Do your own research.
That's right.
Don't listen to the government.
Oh
yeah.
All right, bud. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
Yep, you too.
See ya.
Yep.